Hello, everyone. Yeah, a very warm welcome again, and thank you so much for all your amazing questions. I've received quite a few, and I'll try to answer as much as I can. Um, but yeah, great that you started to engage and that you enjoyed the video, the talk on managing stress and feeling overwhelmed with more ease. And great that actually has caused you to ask some questions within yourself, and then of course also, to address them to me, so that you and also we can dig a little bit deeper into, releasing whatever holds you back. So there was one beautiful question. I'm just going to read it out to you. It's more like a request. I would love some tips on how I can build up my self-worth after feeling a bit lost. That's a beautiful question, and thank you so much for asking this question, because we all do know times in our lives where we feel lost, and feeling lost always also goes along with feeling, losing that sense of confidence, self-confidence, self-worth. So all of these areas kind of like suffer from this feeling lost and not really knowing what to do, not having a direction in life. So, the first thing that comes to my mind when I think about self-worth is again that topic of self-acknowledgement. So when we're feeling lost, oftentimes what we experience on the inside is we don't want to feel lost. We want to have the answers. We want to feel empowered and having all the answers basically. And that's that inner struggle fight that can unfold within us, and we're just not willing really to accept that we are where we are. And that's when that self-acknowledgement comes back in, and when it's so important to give ourselves, or to learn to give ourselves that permission to feel whatever is going on and to be wherever we are at. So simply saying, it's not simple, it's not easy, it's simple, but a simple acknowledgement like, I have been feeling lost, or maybe I still feel a little bit lost, and I don't have all the answers right now, and that feels challenging, that's difficult for me. That's the first, that's the first step really. And that can change so much for our sense of self, for our sense of self-worth, and the way we value our own experience, because this is what self-worth is all about. It's valuing, our own experience, our state of being, our inner world. So self-worth is not kind of like a switch that you either can switch on or off depending on what's happening in your life. It's actually a capacity, and this capacity starts with what I would call self-compassion. Having compassion with ourselves and acknowledging, okay, it's okay, I don't have to have all the answers straight away. How much can I allow myself to more and more grow into actually gathering experiences and data, and that's what helps me to grow into my answer. And that question with how can I build up my self-worth again is really going on a beautiful, adventurous, self-reflective journey of, okay, So I have been feeling a bit lost. I have lost myself, maybe after a relationship breakup, or another life circumstance changed. Transitioning into parenthood, for example, is a big topic as well. That comes along with a lot of beautiful things, but also can come along with a sense of losing identity. So, acknowledging this, I've lost myself a little bit and I'm not quite sure where to from here yet, but what actually can help me and nurture me and nourish me where I'm, just where I'm at right now on my journey. So it taps into a deep exploration of my own inner needs and self-care. But not only self-care, as we know, like, I'm going to take a bath or a massage. It's also about emotional self-care, mental self-care, of course also physical self-care. It's a very complex and big topic, the whole topic of self-care. This is basically the question on a daily basis, what's my loving action for today? Yeah? And I realize I need more rest, or my body is asking for more sleep. How willing am I to make that happen? So that's the loving action, and the more of these loving actions we gift to ourselves, the more our capacity for self-compassion and the more our sense of self-worth grows. So the self-worth is basically directly connected with how willing we are to be loving to ourselves and to actually commit to those loving actions, whatever that is. And that journey of self-exploration and self-reflection, what does truly and authentically nurture and nourish me deep, deep, deep inside. That's basically the journey towards self-worth. So the beauty in that is that there's so many different things that we can do for ourselves or find out about ourselves, and again, it really doesn't matter where we are at. We can do that wherever we're at, and tune into ourselves, tune into our hearts, tune into our soul. And if we dare to listen, we can receive the answers. So, for example, a beautiful space where this oftentimes happens is when we facilitate our sound and energy healing journeys here at my healing center, Mind Your Karma, And these journeys are all about creating a safe and sacred space for people who come along to drop into their selves, basically, so that they can start feeling themselves again. Yeah, they can start feeling and becoming very present with their breath, but also with their thoughts and feelings and any physical sensations. So basically, it's a space where everyone has a chance to start feeling themselves again. And when I start feeling myself again, I also start feeling my boundaries again and my needs. And I get a feeling again for what I really truly need, and really stokes my inner fire. Yeah, my inner fire of motivation, of passion and joy. And these are all motivation, passion and joy are all feelings that are so connected with our sense of self-worth. It's basically when these vibrations, these feelings flow through us, we feel worthy. Yeah? So it's not something that can be achieved by a certain tool as such. It's a feeling. It's a state of being. And that state of being we can nurture and nourish by taking loving actions for ourselves. And there was another question that was really, really beautiful, I thought, and I'm just going to read it to you because it's connected to what I just said. How do we know what our calling is? So again, I love this question because that's so connected to our self-worth as well, or to the way we're feeling about ourselves. So the way I see that is really to walk our journey towards falling more and more in love with ourselves, and not in a selfish kind of way, but in a self-aware way. I feel connected, so I'm sharing with you what makes me feel connected with my calling is I know I'm connected with my calling when I feel vibrations or feelings like joy, happiness, lightness, excitement, eagerness flowing through me. And that's when I feel these feelings inside of me, whatever I'm doing, that's when I know, amazing, I'm on my path. I'm walking towards whoever I'm meant to be, you know. And I said that, I mentioned that in the talk on Monday. You know, it's not, no matter in what capacity you are, you know, as a healer, as a psychologist, as a teacher, as a parent, it's not so much about having all the answers and knowing it. It's really more about being on the journey and honoring, respecting, and being humble for all those great things that we can find out about ourselves. So how do we know what our calling is? It's by the way we feel. We feel about ourselves and we feel about life. If things start to stagnate or feel sticky and stuck and just not moving and flowing, that's a sign that what we're doing is not quite in alignment with what actually truly would bring us joy. And not necessarily always it's the thing that it's what we're doing. It can also be how much or little we allow ourselves to actually be on our journey towards our true calling. So again, it's a journey of self-reflection and acknowledgement, being honest to ourselves, and bringing to the surface what stops us, what holds us back. So a good practice really for both of these questions, like tips for building up self-worth, but also what is my true calling, is when do I feel flow in my life? Yeah, when do flow things when do things flow easily and effortlessly? You know, what brings my heart to smile? And what is really easy for me to do? I don't have to think twice. I really just love doing it. It can be really simple, little things, you know, like being in nature, or having your favorite cup of tea, or, you know, food, whatever comes to mind. Listening to a particular song that brings you joy. So sometimes it's really about tapping into what brings me joy and pleasure, and where are my blockages or hurdles that prevent me from tapping deeper into pleasure and pleasurable things for myself. Cool. Yeah, that's a beautiful topic, and we will focus in these coming weeks. We will be focusing more on self-compassion and self-care. Yeah. And then there's another question. And that was a beautiful one. How can we learn to stop placing so much pressure on us? And I love this question too, because also this is related to what I just talked about. Because even this journey, towards our calling, our self-worth, can be quite a stressful one. Because we do have expectations, and we, especially when we put our energy into something and then it seems to not work out, or it seems to be so hard, or it seems to be not for me, it feels like I'm being punished, all the other people around me are happy, and why can't I be happy? So again, already that question is amazingly put, because it's that acknowledgement: I am putting or placing pressure on myself, and that's not helpful. And then tapping into affirmations or reminders like, even though I'm placing all this pressure on myself, I accept myself and how I feel. And that's a practice. Yeah, that is a self-practice. It doesn't straight away mean we really truly feel like that on the inside. But it's a practice to cultivate a different inner dialogue. And in order to be able to cultivate a different, more loving and accepting and easeful inner dialogue, we need to practice and listen to what really nourishes us. And we need to acknowledge what is bothering us and what is holding us back, or what is creating that pressure. So a first step really is, okay, to that honest acknowledgement. Wow, I'm placing all this pressure on me, and that is tiring, that's exhausting. It's not really helpful. And then taking a breath and just allowing for a moment to be whatever is. That's the inner work. That is that practice. Because of course we want it to go away, or we want the problem to be fixed. But that's what actually is creating more pressures. It's that inner impatience. And then those inner critical voices as well that tell us we're doing something wrong, we should be doing this, we should be doing it like that. So it's really about creating some space inside of us, and with acknowledgement, with that honesty, that self-honesty, can come healing and releasing, or first releasing and healing and realizing, okay, what is actually really needed in this moment, what is really needed in my life. So there were a few more questions there. Well, I think we covered a few. And we always try to answer as many as possible. But yeah, we will be back, or I'll be back next week, and on Monday with our next Awareness Monday topic. And again, next week, Wednesday, you have the chance to ask questions, and I will answer them. And yeah, until then, I wish you a wonderful week, and may you have a beautiful, wherever you are, may you have a beautiful weekend. Here in New Zealand, we're going to have a long weekend, and so far it's looking beautiful and sunny. All the best to you, and stay tuned. Bye.